These guys, it's a 2v1. Zyko and Benz Barocas, when I checked their profile, I think it was like 800, 900 elo. Should be a walk in the park for Sassy. But we've heard this from other players. I remember BC was said it before because BC in the early days was regularly doing this up against a bunch of his viewers. There's a point at which you can be overwhelmed because there's only so much you as one player can do when you're facing down the barrel of multiple guns. You know, Neo could only dodge. Okay, Neo's a bad example. I'm not going to go to that one. You could only dodge so many arrows at the same time. I'm expecting a lot of arrows in this game, right? Like, there's a potential where they just both go mass archers, essentially. Looking at the generation for Sassy, he might want to think about multi-TC, in which case we're probably going to see a Barbican dropped near this stone outcropping. In fact, looking at the lay of the lands, he's got an easy wall off here that can kind of like separate this ability to flank. Especially if the intent from the Eastern team is to play more of a slower comp, right? With spearmen, lombos, archers, men-arms. Like, these are not fast-moving units, and they're kind of piece to the piece, right? They're what you want to have. Or both trade booming. No, don't do this. All right, we're already at risk of losing several prominent names. Maybe not several, but a few prominent names to trading and other things that are frustrating the game. We don't want to see more of that disgusting stuff. We just want to see full balls against the walls, ape mode. Right, that's all I want, okay? 24/7. Kind of already making me miss the 12 villager start we had, actually, because I think that allowed a lot of that to happen. It felt like this early game was just beyond us. But, wait, Essex? So Sassy, interesting. He doesn't feel the pressure at all. In fairness, I don't necessarily blame him for the Imperial Academy, considering no one's touching him. If we check this, I think he's got one villager, right? Yeah, so this is the build that you want to go for if your intent is to go for the Barbican basically as soon as the Imperial Academy is complete. And Sassy will be able to do that because I'm seeing a full lack of aggression here. I do like the fact that Benz is playing out onto the deer stack, and this might be a cool detail he could explore further. One thing I'm thinking he could do here is Benz could actually just play into a proxy base so that they can sync up their forces pushing into his opponent. The problem with that idea is if that is his intent, he's already dropped one military school all the way back here. So he'll have to burn extra wood on additional blacksmiths for that type of play. I think part of the reason is he maybe didn't spot his deer, which... oh, God. Oh. Oh, Benny boy. It's one of those days. Ben's, he's going to come around on this and realize he just got Bambi-boozled in this situation. Oh, that's so infuriating. So run all the villagers out here. I mean, you have to make more of this now as a result of that, because you just got exposed eco otherwise. Sassy, in the meantime, has found their way up and now can follow up with a Barbican. So, interesting approach. Sassy could have protected the southern side to lock in, like, stone and gold. Instead, they're going to just consolidate their control over the northern, but at least southern open, right? But this way, at least SAS ensures that there's no, like, flank attack he has to necessarily worry about, right? Like, he can just focus on defending in one direction. This would be the moment where, if I was not alone on the call, I'd probably start singing a One Direction song, because I like to annoy people. But I'm going to save you guys from that. What was it one? Can anyone remember one? I don't even remember what, the name of their songs. Everybody in love. Is that one of those? I'm not sure. Go put your hands up. No, I'm going to stop. Well, we'll have to see if they can actually force Sassy to put his hands up here, because I'm seeing a lack of any presence so far. Right, the tech ups have come through. We're not pushing longbows as far as I see. No longbows at all. Peculiar. Very peculiar coming out of Zyko. In fact, Zyko, is he just going to try to fast castle this? I mean, he dropped the stables. Okay, thank goodness. He's actually queuing now. I was going to say, the play here is not to fast castle. Because your teammate is already kind of like thrown himself into this. And no offense to these guys, I'm sure they have an idea of what they want to do with their builds. But they are up against a player who has, like, what, double their elo? In fact, let's see. Sassy 1,662. So he's not quite double, right? Because we double-checked the exact. Benz Barocas is 886, and Zyko is 797. Oh, actually, no, he is double. There you go. Not bad. Not bad. So this is a balanced matchup is what we're getting at here. And it's kind of frustrating, actually, because I feel like I should have maybe double-checked what they were doing on the scouting early on, because did they actually prevent a decent amount of sheep going the way of Sassy? I feel like you have to if you want to do this early blockade, right? Like, block out the deer, prevent him getting extra resources. But right now, he's got berries, he's got sheep. I mean, in total, I'd say Sassy has about... How much are we saying here? 2.5 to 3k food still? That's before we calculate in the supervision giving an extra 20%. So there's no way you're going to starve him out anytime soon. They are going to look to ramp up their aggression. Interesting to kind of add in the Lombos when you're playing Mass Horsemen for both players, really. Right? So like you had the starting Spearman, and now you've got Mass Sipahi plus Horseman. It's a good idea. The Lombos might find some value. If he stops at like 8 to 10 and he keeps them as like a skirmishing force probing and killing villagers, I could see it working. I think it's actually a really good way of addressing the Chinese, because with these villagers, they have a safe place, right? Or as I like to call it, a coward's hole. Deserves you having someone's foot up a different hole, because I hate these buildings. 1500 HP. Room for 8 villagers. You can tell that I've been playing a bit of French recently. Because, you know, this is one of the civs that would absolutely tilt you if you're a French spammer. Well, Sassy, he's going to do something to tilt these players. It's disgusting. We've all seen it. We know it breaks every army before it. Is an eye on Unstoppable, the Mass Chugendu. Sassy, in the meantime. Divide and conquer. It's actually not a bad fight for him to be taken. Oh, but he loses the scout. Frustrating, so he's playing a blind game now. Remember, he got rid of the Tang Dynasty, so building like one extra scout doesn't necessarily feel worth it. He might feel somewhat obligated, though, considering he does have the stables. For the time being, it's going to be just massing Chuginu. Now, I don't want to hear this crap about Delhi houses are better. Delhi houses are not better because you're not going to build a house of learning unless you want to lose a game. Win a game with much more ease by going for the compounded defenders. Also, this is feudal age. Come on. I like losing. Merlin, I'm fully aware you like losing. I still recall a certain Boulder Bay game where you forgot about gold. Anyway, focusing on the game, though. Double stables. I really want Benz to follow this up with a bit more depth, right? Like, this mass cavalry is... I get the idea, but I'm pretty sure now, if you're Sassy, you just build a few spearmen in, and your opponents do nothing. Yeah, he's already agging it in. So maybe if you just went for archers yourself to prep for this. Also, if I'm not mistaken, Benz is missing... Okay, he has got the drummer boy. Thank goodness. So drum boy's on the go. Have we got the movement speed? He has got movement speed, so this is really good. He can actually just easily manipulate the base layout of Sassy and essentially dodge out the Chuginu. For now, Sassy's kind of finding good value with these Chuginu, right? Just using them to extend his base naturally. A little bit extra. If you're asking how my day is going, my day has been wonderful. We're now into the evening. And for those just tuning in who don't know Sassy, he's a very capable player. I like to call him the core 2.0, right? He's been a good doormat for Beastie recently. But a very capable player. I look forward to seeing what he can do in the coming months in the Age of Empires 4 competitive scene. Maybe with less of the filthy Chinese being picked. Ugh, what a ridiculous civ this could be. Especially if he just continues this way, like Mass Chicken is actually going to break the enemy. And the walls are already up. This is the other disgusting thing about this civ. Get more build than China. I dare you. I don't know how you do, really. And this is kind of the problem, right? When you get mass cavalry like this, like, you could start burning through these walls, but he seems paranoid. Like, he has got the scouting vision, so I think Benz is maybe showing a bit too much respect. But if they coordinate this now, where he says, okay, Zyko, he's actually on the north side, go in, then they could actually just Benny Hills him, right, and avoid the direct confrontation. But for now, it's just Benz doing everything. You know, dancing on the north side and now moving in on the south. But if you don't have the assistance of the English player behind this, I just don't see any way that you're breaking in, right? Because a few spearmen will just hold you back. By the way... Bravo. Bravo, Kainta, but now you die. You may blend in with the trees, you may be just out of vision. He got a lot of extra info than he should have in this situation, but finally Sassy does sniff it out. Man, that was actually pretty crafty the way he played that, right on the edge of the TC, so that you just couldn't peer around the corner. But now they are playing blind, I get a little bit worried for them. Wolves haven't been fully completed. So Benz will make his way in. But it's the Spears. Immediate response to the Spears. And remember, this is not even the entire army. I mean, at this stage, you're getting fat enough as Sassy that you should be able to defend on multiple fronts. In fact, he's doing more than defending. Oh, he's going to go give a little bit of punishment back the other way. He says, it's time for Papa to get the bell out. Time for an ass whooping. Horsemen are going to go in first. Follow up to butcher the villagers, so 4 going to be thrown away. Benz is slow to respond to this because he's busy dancing elsewhere. He actually loses the Sipahi in Sassy's base. Loses 3 villagers in his own. This is problematic right now. I'm really confused what Zyko's plan was. Well, you can see it, right? He won Castle Age, but he's not quick on the tech up. He wasn't quick on the farm clusters. You can tell that he's an English main, though. Like, this is a textbook English play. We don't need to win now, guys. We can win later. And then you just have your teammate biting his lip, trying to not say anything. This raiding has actually forced the entire army back. Just a few spearmen here. Like we talked about this earlier, that there's no archers at all, right? They never intended to build archers, so this army should be able to get reasonable value. Sassy, interestingly enough, will throw away the Chugenu. And oh, no, Ben. Ben, not like Ben. Ben, please. What are they doing? It's the intimidation dance. It doesn't seem to be working, though. Oh, Sassy has to be smiling at this one. He even has the Pierce upgrade. They will clean up this army, but I mean, Sassy has to be happy with this, right? Killed several villagers, took out the meta. That slows down any sort of counter-assault. Still able to raid and idle out on the backside. And although we know that Zyko is making his way up into Castle Age, Sassy is not going to be far behind him. And remember, this is the Chinese, so, you know, they build... How would I define their building speed? It's like all of their workers are in a union that gives out junked up cocaine liquid form, as well as paying quadruple overtime. You can tell these people are both dosed and incentivized to build at an absurd rate, as you're about to see. So Tech Up was complete, what, 5 seconds ago for the English player? He's going to get, like, a 30-second window, if he's lucky. And because he's pushing Knights, that's not going to be good. Wait, he's not even pushing... Oh, God. No, he's not pushing Knights. He's getting pushed right now. And Sassy, the fact that he actually was able to just pressure both players like this to cover any sort of gluttony at home is incredible. I think he was given a lot of this for free. Oh, no. This army really needs to be relieved. Relieved of their life force, I think, is what's going to happen here. Spearmen are looking to massacre, and I mean, you went for this white tower, so you don't have skill there. Psycho is not pushing Knights either. He's also not using the white tower for production as well, which is a big no-no. I mean, you're just missing out on double production buildings. So I'm starting to feel like Sassy's going to win this. Actually, that's unfair. Not biased caster. 1's in chat for Sassy. 2's in chat for the Golden Alliance. I mean, let's look at the positives, right? Like, Benz has a lot of wood. Zyko is in Castle Age. He's got 1.5 farm clusters. I feel like I'm just being a negative Nelly right now. I think Benz is just, like, he's been distracted on the macro side, right? Like, at this stage, I actually wouldn't mind Benz just building an extra TC. I think that's absolutely fine right now. It's interesting just how much stone he's been gathering. Like, it's almost like he just kind of forgot about them being on the outcropping. Meanwhile, in the land of China, as far as the eyes can see, villages everywhere. Okay, hear me out, guys. What's the likelihood that Sassy has more villagers than both the other players combined? I think it's like 75% likely. 36, 38. So he's about to end up with more. He's just one shy of surpassing him. Oh man, that's a stinger. We had the right idea though. felt about that time, right? When you got Song Dynasty, the delayed second TC. Now you're setting up the farms. Yeah, this is looking kind of chalk. I'm going to speed it up a bit. Just because, like, I'm still not seeing a way they hold right now. They really need to fix this because Power Guard are flooding through. This is a great target by Sassy. Right? He knows that one player's castle, one stuck in feudal. You always target the feudal with these heavily armored units. Benz has built a sizable force, but still, all this wood and stone, and you know, it's not really doing anything for him. And this is not a bank. You can't just deposit it and get a 2 to 3% interest rate per year. Zyko, in the meantime, is going to start like extending that influence around the outposts. They have started to wall the flanks, so they are going to try to slow things down, but slowing things down against the Chinese is ill-advised, folks. Even in a 2v1. I get their logic here, right? Like, if you go late enough in the game, well, you kind of got his number, right? Like, you go late enough in the game. I mean, he's got 200 pop cap. We got 400 pop cap. That's 2 times what he has. Easy clap. But your economy isn't really on par with that. And also, the time at which you arrive at 200 pop cap is going to be notably delayed compared to the Chinese here. Speaking of which, Sassy is surging forward in that regard. They haven't cracked triple digits. He's already halfway to the 200 from that 100 mark. Lancers are just going to continue to keep the army at home. Wolves are fully going up, so they fully intend to just drag this, but I don't think that's going to happen. Zassy's moving out. Sacred Sites are all in the neutral points as well, so he can actually go around and force that win condition. Meantime, he's going to twist the arm of Zyko. Zyko who... Oh, no, Zyko, no. No. He hasn't upgraded the men at arms. These are not men, these are boys. They're babies. Oh, God. It pains you to watch it. That's a heavy investment into a not-so-tanky army. 100 health per each of these, and I mean, they're 120 resources each. Meanwhile, Benz is trying to get cute. That's right, turn around before the castle massacres you. This is about equivalent to taking a car and driving it into a brick wall. Double-layered brick wall at that. Wouldn't advise it. It's like taking your cart horse and riding it into the side of the Great Wall of China. Which is fitting. Because we might actually end up with the Great Wall soon. The way he's going, I think Sassy must be close to pop cap. Yeah, 196. This is where you're just going to see him hoard resources like he's the true Schmeagle. Man, even after the slowdown, though, I'm just looking. Benz is... where is Castle Age? I'm starting to get the feeling Benz is one of those all-in feudal age players for the Ottomans. You know, like he lives and breathes the mass archers or mass Sipahi build. He forces his opponents into submission before Castle Age is a reality. Why would you want to be the Ottomans beyond the medieval age? They get too powerful in that point in history. It's OP. Good God, we really are going for the bootleg riders, though. Whew. Ah, yes. Well done. You are a formidable army. You were able to murder a poor, innocent, bald man who looked frail and never actually attacked anyone because he believed in peace or some crap. Now he rests in pieces. Well done. As does the army of Zyko. That was pretty much everything he had. And if I am Benz right now, I'm like, so you're sending in more troops, right? You're sending more troops, right? Because Benz has committed a lot to this. He's 66 military pop cap, and if he doesn't kill an SCB straight away, this won't work. No. The SCBs go straight for them. Okay, wrap around. But he's dead. Hear me out. Protein prices are through the roof in our local supermarkets. What if there was large animals that are now beginning to decay, but we can grab them quick enough to stick them in the fridges to feed people at a discount. Okay, they're gone. You should have made up your mind quick. Meanwhile, Sassy hasn't made up his mind which player he wants to kill. It's back and forth, the balance of power, right? You don't want to murder them. You just, like, you can tell Sassy's the type of person that probably has a whip and a few chains in his closet, right? You know, one or two long phallic objects, maybe a little bit of latex. He doesn't want to kill them. He just wants to punish them. Never-ending Eva player, just dancing back and forth between them, making sure that neither of them grow up to be a strong boy, to thrive, to defend their empire. Psycho will never know what it means to chant Rule Britannia. Ben's Barukas will never know what it means to... Does anyone know what the Ottoman equivalent of Rule Britannia was? I know their history, I just don't know the songs. I'm just going to put a filler here. Rihanna Umbrella. He'll never know what it means to chant Rihanna Umbrella. I wish he had an umbrella to hide behind here. Maybe one that's kind of bulletproof at this rate. I wouldn't be surprised if the next wave of Chugate New are going to be on the way to his base. I think we can speed this up again. This is reach grim tidings. No, don't slow it down. Don't paint a picture that's longer in this situation. I mean, he's not making the worst of choices here, right? Going for the keep. Smart Ben. This was the long-term plan. He saved up all those resources so he could inevitably drop a keep when he was completely and utterly oppressed. But I don't think Sassy's impressed anymore. He never was oppressed either. All sacred sites controlled. Imperial Age reached. And I'm starting to realize the real reason why I'm going to upload this to YouTube is so that everyone knows how much of a bully Sassy is. He could have been a gentleman. He could have left the lobby and said GG, and we knew by now we would have, no, Sassy won. We know he's won. But instead of letting them have their dignity, with whatever small iota of it remains, he decided to take that pride they had, cover it in gasoline, and set it ablaze. Poor guys. It's just not fair when you watch it like this, is it? So thinking back about what went wrong in this game, I mean, I think really I'm not really sure what Zyko was doing, because it looked like he was going to go Castle Age and then he stopped. I think if he goes Castle Age, it's not the worst of ideas. But the fact that he didn't even commit to full Feudal or go Castle Age is where things got weird. I didn't mind Benz's plan of just massing Sipahi. But you need backup in this situation. You know you're at a disadvantage one-on-one. Kind of feels like he got thrown to the wolves a bit. Feels like Zyko is used to playing that long game with the English. And, well, I guess 28 minutes is kind of long in the current meta, but it doesn't feel very long in a 2v1. Not when the outcome is this. Oh, it's so nice of Sassy. He's firing off fireworks for them, you know? Turn into a party, trying to cheer them up. I'd need a lot of cheering up after this one.